Oh, it's hot. How's it going, my G's? Hope you've all had a lovely weekend. I've made a wicked new bass for you guys. I hope you're going to like it today. This one is called the Suicide Bass. And just before I show it to you, I'd just like to say that down below there's some beautiful vegetable buttons, like, subscribe, bell notification. And this is pak choi, and that's got nothing to do with it, but I shouldn't have thrown that because it's probably going to bruise it or ruin it. Anyway, I love pak choi. Let me know in the comments down below if you like pak choi or if you like Asian food, because it's definitely my favourite. Anyway, we're going to make a Suicide Bass today, and it's a little bit like I don't want to tell anyone, but you know Suicide Bass Line. It's a song by Mephius, one of the best producers ever. And it sounds a little bit like that, and I hate trying to make a sound like someone else, because let's push music forward, you know, let's make new things. Let's use the sound of like a man falling off a scaffolding and into a puddle of cheese and resample that, you know, and try and create something new. We don't need to, you know, try and make someone else's sound. But I was just experimenting with a few presets. I made 2 this morning, and they just didn't really quite. They were good, but they weren't worth making a video over. So I had a little break. Did some leg raises on the floor, and I called up the Shadow Master, and he actually came back to me and said, look, don't worry, I'll sort you out. So let's quickly say hi to the Shadow Master.
Hello guys, hope you're doing well, hope you're enjoying the living cost crisis.
I'm really sorry, that was a bad idea to get him on. He's such a weird bloke, honestly. Anyway, let's take a little listen to the Suicide Bass, and if you like my channel, like my content, check out the links down below to Discord. We're going to be doing a little remix competition on there soon, and this preset will be in there too, so you'll love it in that community. So pretty nasty little bass line we've got going on here, and we're going to jump into the Vital. But before we do that, I must tell you what I did previously, which was I designed a sound using pull stretch, which I then resampled into Vital to begin the sound design process. So let's have a little look at pull stretch first. So to make this bass line, I was looking for texture to begin with, and I thought about maybe some water bubbles. So I got this water bubble sample here. And then what I did was I wanted to make it sort of longer and a bit more, a bit less bubbly and a bit more of just a texture. So what I did was I used Pull Stretch, which is a free, I believe it's a free plugin, and it's a bit difficult to use sometimes, but basically this is how I use it. I just press capture and then I play the audio. Press stop and then turn off the capture, and then it's captured this kind of beautiful little file here. And it's going to make these weird noises that would be great for like intro, atmosphere and things like that. And so I've just messed around with it, changed the pitch, stretched it out a bit. Now I've got this kind of nice, long, tense, atmospheric texture. And then all I've done is I've just control bounced that out as an audio file. And it's become this kind of sound here. And then I'm going to use this to throw into Vital, and then we're going to start the sound design process from there. So let's jump into the voicing. So here in Vital then, I've got my water bubbles sound effect. And I'm going to FM this straight into a oscillator 1 here, which is the Thank You False Noise. I don't know if that's one that comes with Vital or if that's one I made. I can't actually remember now. But it's basically a sine wave that's got a little bit of kind of digital harmonics to it. So it's FMing in there. I've turned on this inharmonic stretch, just change the frequency kind of content a little bit. We're down at -24, and then I'm going to do a lot of detuning in this patch. So I'm going to sort of bring some of the oscillators down and some of them up to create the movement of the sound. But anyway, I'm playing this note at G. Phase randomization's off. I've got the phase set to 180, so it starts in the middle. So that's the first part to the sound. Then we add in the second oscillator, and this is a sine wave, but this is pitched up, so 2 octaves higher, so it's. And then we add in the third oscillator, and this is a 3 octave higher, so it's 4 octaves higher. So it's pitched up, so 2 octaves higher, so it's 2 octaves higher, so it's 4 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 octaves higher, so it's It's quite a high sine wave. But we're going to FM from 1 here. So quite nice and gritty already. Again, the phase is at 0. They're all kind of just at 180 and 0 on these oscillators, so nice and easy. No unison voicing spread. I've kept it all kind of mono. The third one is another sine wave down -12, and this has got a little another adjustment in the detuning as well here. And again, we're going in from oscillator 2. So signal chain, goes bubbles into 1, into 2, into 3, and the volume has been left up on all of them. So here I've got this already quite nice sort of gritty Reese bass. So that's the basis for the voicing, but now it's going to get super interesting, and how we really achieve this character sound is going to come from the filtering. So let's jump into that. Now what creates the main texture of this sound is the comb filter, and everything is running through here. So if I whack this on quickly, you'll see what happens to the sound. Get these really nice resonances and this nice movement, and it kind of goes like a wizard on a lizard. Wizard on a lizard. Yeah. A wizard on a flying lizard, almost, And I've been very careful to adjust the comb filter to the exact sort of settings here. And this is a nice little addition. I might randomize that a little bit here. Yeah, but you can tell I've used the comb band spread flange minus, which even your nan will know that that's the best filter to use. And then I've turned the cuts down. Again, I've just kind of mixed in this cutoff here at a nice and low, sort of around 50 hertz, where it starts to resonate and play with the fundamental part of the bass sound that we created. So obviously up here it's a bit too comey and weird and horrible, but when I get the right sweet spot, it starts to get a really nice effect happening on the bass. And then I've added another filter here, which I actually haven't added. I don't think I used that. Anyway, that's basically the main part of the sound that gives it all that character. Now we're just going to enhance all of it, firstly with the vital effects. So the sound is still going to be developed quite a lot during the effects. And the first thing is the distortion, and this is important, and it's the linear fold mode that I've used. I've driven it up sort of 3.5 dB or so, just to get that aggression into the sound. Then I've got the chorus, which is really going to do a lot. So let's have a listen to when I put that on. Now it really, really spreads things out quite a lot. I think I might have overdone it slightly, so I might mix it back a little bit. Oh yeah, about there is perfect. And what I've done is I've really paid close attention to the exact level of depth and the delays, and the depth is really, really short. So normal chorus effect up here, but by turning the depth down a lot, I'm just getting that mix just right. Yeah, I've created a really nice kind of extra layer to the sound that's quite sort of tight. And then after that, I've simply done a little bit of EQing, boosting the high end a little bit, and a bit of mid-range magic boosting. No, it's a mid bass, so we need to exaggerate the mid frequencies always, around 300 or 200 or something around there. Yeah, he ain't got me in Rush Hour 3. Anyway, bit of reverb to tie it all together. And that's pretty much the Suicide bass patch. Will already be on my Patreon when you're dropping this video, when you're watching this video. Appreciate the support if you decide to join. And but finally, let's not forget, I've got a lot of post-processing to do to really get the most out of this bass and pattern. So let's jump into that next. So because of all the chorusing, it's quite stereoed. So just to tighten up the low end, I've put a mid-side EQ and taken out the sides around 85 here. And then what I've done is I've actually bounced this out And I made a separate version when I bounced it out. I made another version which had a bit of a pitch, a bit of kind of pitch drop at the start. Has a little bit of a push at the start. It goes bow, 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 and that's just by pitching one of the oscillators up 3 semitones and just putting it on this sort of fast ramping down LFO kind of curve here. So I bounced that out as a kind of one shot, and then I took that off and also bounced out the original sound with leaving the whole bass running. And where the comb filter kind of changes and interacts with the sound at different points, there was certain sections of the bass line that sounded more coherent and a bit more powerful, and I decided to use those when I bounced them. So this is the kind of parts that I used here. You know, if I was to extend that out, you know, because it's moving around all the time, I chose the most punchy and like coherent bass textures, and then I added my little pitch one at the beginning always. You can tell there's a few sort of clicks and pops on the sound here still, so I might just. It's a little bit better. I added a few drums which are they're pretty much all from my Vital presets, like older ones, just like really simple kicks and snares and hats, just with white noise and sine waves, just to keep it clean and punchy. And then I added, I chopped out these extra sections that are missing, and just to create some movement in the pattern, I just applied a bit of filtering to these extra little chunks here. So this filter freak is on both these little sections here. So I've got a bit of a kind of modulation on the filter, just some low pass filtering at different speeds, just to chop up these little sections and provide movement to them there. And then finally, I have post-processed everything by basically boosting the high end, because it was kind of missing a little bit here. Adding an LFO tool to sidechain it from the kick. Then I added quite a lot of white noise with the ring mod, just to give that extra crunchy texture to it. Colouring the high end with a bit of fresh air, just at 7% because it's my favourite number. And then channel EQ, again, I've boosted the kind of biting point of the treble around 1.5k here. So it's a very, very full sound, and it's squashing the hell out of everything, squashing the hell out of my drums. It's very, you know, it's taking up a lot of the mix, but it's very powerful and it's very exciting to me. And yes, I really like this bass, and I'm going to probably continue to use it or do something new with it, maybe redesign the patch and make it even better for another time. But as it stands, I think it's a wicked bass line. I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. I hope you learned a little bit about synthesis. And yeah, just most importantly, make sure you text your nan, tell her you love her, and if you do drink tea, make sure you have it with milk and sugar. Don't be one of these herbal people. Have proper English tea. All right, bye.